We have a chatterbox, a mommy, and a daddy heading to the barn now. Ava and Ollie stayed over last night at Jet Jameson's, so that's Jody's sons. They're the exact same age, aren't they, Ava and Jet? Ava and Jet are almost the exact same age, so it's just the three of us, a little small family today. We're heading to the barn. I thought I'd get some lists done. We're going to talk about the 3-year-olds, but they're not. Yeah, they're 3-year-olds now. 3-year-olds, everybody. It's a year older than 2. Let me turn this off. Almost there, boss. He looks better now. I see him on the track. I said this last week. I said it again this week. You know, so here's the thing you got to understand. I tell you guys all the time, you get stuck into thinking there's one way to train a horse, and James only ever trained horses the same way we did. So anytime there's somebody training a horse differently, I guess it rubs them. And I was like this. When I started the stable, I wanted everything done my way all the time, no matter what. And I micromanaged everybody. And it didn't really come to my attention until we hired Kelly, right? And there was stuff that Kelly does that I don't play a role in, right? A lot of the back end stuff, Eric, Wendy, and Kelly take care of. I don't know how to run the back end of the site. So it wasn't until that stuff started happening that I realized that, you know, you can't have a big stable and have everything under your thumb. Now, it's good to keep an eye on everything, but you have to trust the people you hire. And I guess that's what it comes down to. And the way that Harry or Mario or Johnny was here or anybody would train a horse down may not be the way I want to. Now, it's a little bit different with Jason. Jason and I got a different rapport. We're you know, very similar in the way we train horses anyway. You know, we're close to the same age, so we talk a little more freely and openly. But when it came to Harry or any of our other trainers, I got to give them their space, right? They do their own thing. And Harry trains a lot of the horses down by themselves, which annoys me to no end. And I know it annoys James, but as I said to James, you got to let people do their job. And there's no complaining about it, because this is a man with a decorated past, a consummate horseman. When you look up horsemen, there's a lot of people fit under that heading, but you can be sure Harry Poulton is squarely in the middle of it. You know, a very good horseman, sharp guy, understands his job. And I am not. There's going to be times when Harry and I have conversations about horses, and, you know, decisions are going to be made, and shh, sprinkles on it. Eat that Timbit, because that's good for you for breakfast. Oh, sorry. So when it comes to Harry, there's always a discussion, but ultimately it's Harry's decision. So, Almost There Boss looks great on the track, but every time he goes by training him by himself, I see James just looking out of the corner of his eye all the time. And it got to me where it's a little bit funny. And, you know, James he's 34, he's not a kid anymore, but this game, this game molds you. And I think what's left at the end of it, when it's done with you, and it spits you out when you're 65 or 75, you realize that there's a million ways to get to the same place we're all trying to get to, and that's a winner's circle, right? And when it comes to Harry, I certainly don't have to question or look over his shoulder, or, you know, have people watching. Harry gets his work done. And when it's raining out, Harry's on the track in his rain gear. When it's snowing out, Harry's jogging on the track. It doesn't matter the weather. You can be sure Harry Poulton is there. And I can assure you, of all the ways to get to the track and get to the winner's circle, there is one common denominator, and that's the work you put in.
And he's here today, too.
And that's what I say. He's here every day. I guarantee you we're going to pull in. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which I'm rarely here at 9 o'clock on a Sunday. But I guarantee you Harry Poulton's here, for sure. So, a bit of a 4-minute talk about Almost There Boss when I only mentioned his name once. Hi, horsies. Almost There Boss looks good training down now. Very, very happy with what I've seen from him. Mordiner, I saw him the other day. He looks good at Northfield. Now, you're going to see me slide over to Northfield Park on a Saturday. Saturdays are tough, right? Those are our drone days or our work days here at the farm. So it's hard for me to get there on a Saturday. So I think I'm going to switch things up with Lauren and say we're going to train hard on Wednesdays, which makes sense because qualifying days are on Wednesdays there anyway. So we're going to train. I have a ton of horses to train Wednesday at Northfield Park. Addie, can you just say hi to everybody? Say hi, everybody. So Amordiner looks good. He's not ready to start training yet, but I'll see him when I go over to Northfield this week. Arches Rainbow, January 12th is their scope date. Listen, guys, I know that everybody's like, oh, when's she going to race? She's not going to race till like April. At the earliest. Yeah. And I don't care. I mean, I want the best form of that filly. If you saw how big she got from a yearling to a 2-year-old to a 3-year-old, you know what I'm talking about. And this airway issue, she's already gone with. This hasn't developed during her training or into her almost racing. It didn't develop along the way. It's always been there. So everything she's done, all the things she's done that impressed me were with this deficiency in her throat. And I mean, I think the odds are extremely low that the extra 2 weeks of antibiotics help. But as I said, I'm so proud that and I should be proud. I mean, that's her job. But Natalie was very upfront. The thing I love about Natalie Cote is she knows that we race horses. Sometimes when you go to the university or these clinics, they look at the horse and like, oh, this is what you have to do, and they give you this long, ridiculous, drawn out, you know, work schedule for the horses. That is absolutely, most of it is not necessary, right? And Natalie understands that these are race horses and that hand walking in January is not likely to happen. So when can the horses walk in the jog cart? When can they start jogging? And the throat's a little different. Obviously, you're talking about a very sensitive area. But I mean, for OCDs, so I'll give you I know it's wasting your time, but I'll give you another little quick story. When they started taking OCDs out, now every OCD is different. Where it's at, how big it is, you know, things of that nature. But if you're just going to talk about your run-of-the-mill OCD in a hock, or an ankle, they used to take them out, then they tell you a month in the stall, then 2 weeks of hand walking, and then it was very light jogging, and it was this long drawn out process. Now, even the clinics now, for a run-of-the-mill, just average OCD that's been in there for a while, take it out, 2 weeks in the stall, and the sutures come out, you can start jogging. And that's how it is. But that took time, right, to reform to, okay, this is what actually you can do with the horses. Anyway, Amordiner looks fine. Arches Rainbow, as I said, we are going to take our time with this filly because I believe in her. I think she's well-bred. I think she's very fast, and she's got a fantastic attitude. So why wouldn't we just let her take all the time she needs? It's exactly what we're going to do. Betterby Sawyer. Now, I thought Harry would have had Betterby Sawyer over to schooler the other day. The thing I love about Harry will fool you, right? He'll train them, and this is a little insight into Harry that I've picked. Shh, okay, honey, you don't have to yell. I'm doing this here. A little insight into Harry and how he operates. He'll train them in like 35, 35, 30, 20, and then you get to 20, and you're like, oh, he's getting close. But then Harry will go 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and he'll just keep going. What's that?
That's where it's flat.
Yeah, we're still doing this thing. And then he'll just 20 them to death, which is great. You know, it makes that middle training where it starts to get stressful. He really puts it on them. And I reported to you guys 3 weeks ago, geez, he's been in 18. He's getting close. He's still been in, like, I think he's probably been in 2.8 or 2.10 with her now. But, you know, I'm not the same. See, and this is a little insight into how I train horses. Bring them back, jog them for 2 weeks. Then it's train them mile and 35. And then they start the 1.5 miles, right? 1.5 miles, 1.5 miles, 1.5 miles, 1.5 miles, 1.5 miles. And then what I will do, easy, then what I will do is put them in the race bike and go a mile in 2:10 or 2:12. And then I'll evaluate them. Okay, can you let her out before she drives me crazy? A little bit? And that's how I train horses back. So I'll go on the bike, like for instance, I'll go with the horses at Northfield Park on Wednesday. I'll train them all in 2.6. They've all been in 2.10, 2.8. I'll train them all in 2.5, 2.6, and then I'll look at them after. Are they eating lunch? How do they recover? When they come off the track, are they blowing a lot? When they're in the bath rack, maybe just take a look and say, okay, how long did it take them to recover? Did they look comfortable in doing that? These are the things that I look for, right? And if we go a mile in 2.5 and they did it well, then I'll come back next week and go a mile in 2.2, 2.1, 2.3, whatever. No dogs in the barn. No. She's going to ruin it.
You tell her.
Addie Bear, a little lesson for you about training babies. Here. No, Marshall and Rebel can't go in the barn because they're going to get dirty and stink like horse poop. No, put them in your seat. They have to sit in your seat. Do you want them to smell and get dirty? Well, why don't you? Can I have them for a second? They're going to help me do the videos. Look, Rebel is going to help me, Daddy, do the videos. You should never let her do this. These dogs are going to have to be washed now.
Okay, come on.
Out. Everybody out. So, we've only got the 4 horses on the list, and it's 10 minutes in. It's a bit of a long video. So, Better Be Sawyer, as I said, I gave you an idea, a look at how Harry trains his horses. I told you how I train the horses. Jason's very similar. I rely. Harry is old school, and he'll rely on sometimes, I guess, double. I haven't seen him going many double headers, 2 trips. Where we rely more on 1.5 miles. That's how Jason trains them down. That's how I train them down. We started doing this when the stable started, and it was a necessity at the time. We just had too many horses to train down, so there was no going 2 trips. And I don't like double headers. I think they're too hard on the horse. I know there's a lot of old horsemen out there going to say, we want no double headers. Yeah, but your horses didn't go in 51 when they were 2 or 52. I think double headers are detrimental. I don't like them for the babies, not anymore. And I don't think they're necessary. Now, having said that, who cares what I think? I could be wrong. Blue Bayou Dio is good now. She's coming back. I want to keep a real close eye on this filly. She's coming back here on Wednesday with me. Her and Joe. She's coming back here with me on Wednesday evening. Her and Garden State Dio, and either a Mordiner. I'll tell you why. Either I have to get the papers done quickly on a Mordiner. Who's the other horse? Give me a second. I'm going to need more in a second. It's probably going to be a Mordiner. Oh, tie one on. So it'll be one of those 2 will come back on Wednesday evening with me. So those 3 horses will be here at the training center. Now the reason being, and this is the new thing we had to do this year, was manage our workforce, right? And this worked out well. If you look closely at any of the chats, any of the threads in horse racing, a lot of people looking for caretakers. Well, that's why we kept 20 plus horses at Northfield Park, to keep our staff employed for Ohio, so we had them next year. So they can do, Lauren told me they're comfortable doing 22 or 23. Right now, we had 3 horses come in yesterday. I guess I'll talk about those 2. A lady and her family were deathly sick with COVID, and I think probably a little, like everybody during this time, a little financially strained, and didn't know where to turn. They had 4 or 5 horses, and she had reached out to me and asked about the stable and if we could help out, and we ended up taking 3 of her horses. So her and her family retained 20% of the horses. The other 80% comes to us. A couple of them look okay, I guess. A little rough around the edges. One was in the field, turned out from last June as a baby, so lots of time to mature. The other 2 had raced sporadically. One's an Indiana bred. The other 2 are Ohio breds. One's a trotter, 2's a pacer. We're going to clean them up, and they'll end up on our site probably in the next 3 weeks. They'll come over here to Ontario. We'll, although they are aged, we'll get them in some sort of sets to let everybody take a look at them. Maybe one of these days I see Twinkle and all those horses training down. Plus, Unbeatable Kemp. If we have sets that we can manage certain times, I'll set it up. And I say this every year, but keep in mind, I'm really sorry, but it's really difficult to get a handle on how fast the horses are going. So we'll try and get a day where we have a number of these horses training together, and maybe the other horse, if they're training faster, we can at least have the drone and get a look at them. So these 3 horses' names are Del Cash, I forget the names. So they're gonna probably come over here in the next 2 weeks and be with us. It was our little piece of goodwill towards horse racing. I know it frustrates my wife sometimes when we bring in stragglers, but at the same time, everybody needs a little help from now and then, and from time to time. Everybody needs a helping hand, and there was a lot of people helped me to get to where I am, and if I can help along the way to wherever we end up, then I'm gonna. So those 3 horses have joined the stable.ca. We'll talk more about them in another video. I am really behind. I'm really sorry. This is turning into a bit of a snooze fest. So Blue Bayou Dio is coming back with me. Bomb Hugger looks good over in Northfield Park. Very happy with her. Century Invictus I saw train yesterday. He's looking very, very good. Confederate Cruiser. I haven't seen him train, but I'll probably train him on Wednesday. I suspect he's been around 220, 225, I suspect. Isa 10 looked great training. So great story here. I'm glad Amy left. So Isa 10 can get a little bully, right? She loves her work, and she is a strong filly. She doesn't look big, but she is strong. So we trained Stonebridge Dolce 1.5 miles with Isa 10 last week, the day after I brought them home. I pull up. We finish together. It's a good training mile. Amy goes, she's really quiet with that wire snake cord on. You know, I said, hey, you do what you want. I said, but I guarantee you her being quiet is a feather in your cap, because you know what she can get like. If you guys want to know what she can get like, go back and look at her last start where she finished second and she raced great. It was a wrestling match the whole way with her. She can get really, really rowdy sometimes. And she looks great. Great on the track. Looks fantastic. So it's freezing cold on Friday. I arrive here. The young lady that takes care of Dolce, I didn't message her the night before to say we'd be training Friday instead of Saturday. So I get here, and Amy's got Isa 10 ready. And Stonebridge Dolce is coming off the track and jogging. So I go up and I tell the young lady, I said, just put the hobbles on that filly and I'll train her. Now, James is leaving to go to the qualifiers on Friday. I said, can you scoot down to Amy's barn? So if you look, I'm sitting in front of you. You guys have been to the training center. All the babies are in the top barn. Amy's got hers down in shed row 10. So James goes down. Whatever he said was not audible. You know, Amy said, I don't know, you know, by and said something about go right out on the track. What I meant was go out with the Isa 10 now, jog her around 3 laps, and then I'll go out, meet you, and we'll go. Because my horse had already jogged, Stonebridge Dolce. So I come out in the track. Amy's going the right way of the track, and Isa 10 is sharp. And she is throwing Amy around. Like, well, we were going to go 1.5 miles and 225 speed. She went 1.18 miles last half and 5. And run away with Amy almost. It's just feeling good, right? So, keep in mind, it's freezing cold. I see her pull up. Now, I'm supposed to be training with her. I wheel up beside her. She goes, James said that the filly had already jogged. I said, James is an idiot. I said, obviously it wasn't clear. So I know Amy is freezing right now. It's minus 16. Freezing. Her hands are cold. Her face, she's angry. And I look up. No snake cord on the filly. I looked over at her. I said, how's that snake cord working out for you? I can't tell you her response. She was a little bit angry. So, Isa 10 was very sharp the other day. Coming back good. Looking great. Looking how we want her to. No, now, I'll be completely frank with you. We didn't see any signs of her really interfering and hitting herself until she got to about 2 minutes. So there's no way for me to tell you, is she not going to? It doesn't look like she's going to interfere, but we'll see over the next one. She certainly didn't interfere the other day and looked very, very good going. Wow, this list is going slow. Garden State Dio coming back with me Wednesday night. She looks awesome. Grace looks great on the track. Jason's like, well, when do you want to start training her? I said, there's no rush. She's got 90,000 made. She fits in hours of 3, 2, 3. Just take your time. There's no rush with Grace. Just jog her for a month and train her down. I only want her ready for mid to end of March. Granite Hill, I'm going to train in about 2.5. Now, there's a number of horses, for those of you watching the sales develop in Ohio. Granite Hill was entered in the sale for February the 7th. But this is all contingent on how he is. If he comes back and looks useful and looks good, then he won't be going to the sale. But I have to put him in the sale to make sure he's, you have to enter a month before, and they close it, and that's that. So Granite Hill is in the sale. I'm going to train him around 2.4, 2.5 on Wednesday. Hill of Magic also in the sale for a totally different reason. We're going to re-x-ray her next week, see how that fracture line in her foot's coming, and see how sound she is. I've been told she's sound. I believe the vet said she's ready to start back jogging now. We'll see. when I get over there next week. But for now, doing everything we asked her to, but she is entered in the sale, as is Kathy with an eye. Need to see these horses, these 3-year-olds coming back. I need to see what they can do, and whether it's Kathy or Granite or Matt or anybody. Now, I didn't enter Matt in the sale. That was a boo-boo. They tell me that Matt's been training very, very good, though. So we'll see how Matt's MVP trains next week. We'll see how Kathy with an eye and Granite Hill train next week. Also, we'll see the x-ray on Hill of Magic. And Massive Profit looks great here. Very happy with how things are working out with Mario's Burn with Massive Profit. As I said, Matt's MVP is training down good, I'm told. All these ones that have been trained now, Granite Hill, Matt's MVP, and Kathy and I are all going between 2-3 and 2-6 next Wednesday when I'm there. Of Tom, just starting back training, her first training trip of the year will be on Wednesday. 1-2 Skip a Few also will be on Wednesday. Peanut Butter and Jelly is getting very close. I believe they've been in 2-8, 2-9 with Peanut Butter and Jelly and with Stomer Chicati. They've both been in 2-8, 2-9. They're going to Mohawk on Wednesday, I believe. Prairie Fire got injured. It's just bad timing for this guy. You know, just twice at this colt just showed us. I was so excited after I schooled him, and then for that injury in that left hind leg to pop back up was just heartbreaking, just very frustrating. So we're going to spend the next month. I did put him in the sale. You know, he'll race at some point in his life. I put him in the sale, and I was very upfront that he get injured at 2 after a great qualifier and a great race, and then re-aggravated it after a schooler in 59 here, 58 apiece here. Just a very frustrating situation, but nevertheless, Prairie Fire is in the sale. Probably make somebody a nice horse. Just we can't hang on to him for months and months and months. Procrastinator looks very good. Very interested to see. I haven't got an update on this guy, so I suspect his first training trip will be on Wednesday. If they trained him before Wednesday, I haven't got a report on it, but I know just looking at him with my own 2 eyes, he looks very, very good. Purple Aura looks great. Renegade Gypsy looks great. Resolute. All these horses look great right now. Rose Above It threw in a real stinker. We did get his blood back. Mild tie-up. His liver's a little high. A lot of little stuff. Nothing major that it looked like the other night. He just didn't race good. So we had put him on gate. I had a couple of people call about him. We may race him in another week at Flamborough or something, but Rose Above It, there's just not enough there for me to say, oh, I'll go to bat for this guy. You know, they get to that level, right? Even if he went back to that 58 level that he did as a 2-year-old, that's not enough as a 3-year-old for him to be an effective racehorse. So a horse that I thought, you know, looking at his breeding, looking at what he's accomplished, what he could do, what he looks like he could do, I really thought that this would be a nice horse, but it looks like he's just going to be a B-track kind of grassroots type horse. Nice colt. It makes somebody a nice colt, but not really what we're looking for. Slim Jimmy looks good at the barn over there in Ohio. He always looks like a big panda bear in the winter. So, looks good. They're training him back now. Stonebridge Dolce trained great here. Both days we trained her Wednesday. We went Wednesday back Friday. Did we go Tuesday? No, Wednesday back Friday. She'll go both days. Very happy with this filly. Now, just to put it in perspective, this is a filly where if you tried to train her by herself, she'd just pull up and not do her work the whole time when she was 2. I trained her by herself the other day. She was all business the whole way. Really liking her work. Has really matured into a good-looking filly. Can't wait to see how she trains down. Sweet on Pete just began training in Ohio. 3-Point Blue Chip did just enter the Julie Miller stable in New Jersey. This horse does not need to come back here. Like, this is a horse that we know is a Grand Circuit colt, and we expect to be a good horse at 3. He really should be on the East Coast, where most of his stake racing is going to take place. So 3-Point Blue Chip has joined the Julie Miller stable. Tie One On, I believe, will come back here. It's a filly with 2 wins, but the numbers are 2 at Mohawk. His numbers are 2. Filly's mare's 3, I believe. Just a really nice. This is of all our horses this year, we have a lot of expectations for a lot of them. Very few higher than Tie One On. I can't wait to see what this filly's going to do. Tioga Sunshine is training back good, looking good on the track. Twinbee Habanero still jogging and training slow miles in Northfield Park. That will continue for at least another month or a month and a half. Twinkle in Her Eye, saw her train yesterday. She looked good on the track with Harry. Harry said, I like this filly, right? I like her on the left shaft a little bit, so I went back and looked at our notes from when we had her looked at last year. Knees and feet, they're both good right now. We're suspect as a baby. It's a 2-year-old. And the right hind ankle, little roughness on the sesamoid. Nothing really to be too concerned about. But she does the same thing. He said over on the left shaft, going slow. He said, going fast, she looks great. So I went back and looked at my notes, took a screenshot, sent it to Harry, and everything that we found last year, aside from the knees and feet, which look good right now, kind of match up with what he sees right now. But she looks good on the track. Unbeatable Kemp, another horse flying under the radar. But this horse here, I got high expectations for. A really nice 2-year-old. This is a 2-year-old that had one of the fastest miles of any 2-year-old trotter on a half-mile track last year. 56-2. He was a winner at Northfield rather easily, and a good-looking horse. Voyage of Ice and Fire didn't look like a good horse. Really fooled me his entire life, and he will be ready. He is entered in the sale. He will be qualified a week before the sale. I will get a good look at what this guy has to offer, and he'd want to bring his A game right away. Will to Win Hanover looks awesome. I'm taking No Free Lunch and Will to Win Hanover to the vet on Monday. Both those horses are getting really close to starting to go a little faster miles. No Free Lunch went a mile and 2.8 at Mohawk in the jog cart. He's going to be ready to go very soon. Will to Win Hanover's maybe a couple of weeks behind him, but I want to make sure they're both going. These are both horses that injured. Actually, both horses that cracked coffin bones last year. Both of them look great now, look fantastic. Just want to take a little peek, make sure everything's all right. And then World for Two looks great. We had a splint crowd on him Thursday, but he's training now and looking very, very good on the track. So my apologies, I turned a 8-minute list into 26 minutes, but a few little tidbits in there for you, a little training, talking about horses. But overall, very happy with our sophomore crew coming back for 2022. Take care.